shows.
The church boy here.
Can you say?
Hello viewers, how you all doing? My name is Ukela Prince and I'm thrilled to welcome you to Talk Your Own. You know, it's been a great time, you know, with my brother and friend here. We, you know, trying to talk about the music industry, especially from the black, you know, artist perspective. And quite a lot has been, you know, brought to the table. And you know, like I say, you know, in Talk Your Own, you know, you it's your view, it's your opinion, and so you are entitled. So, but at the end of the day, we try to create a balance, right? So, right here in the studio, I still have with me my own brother man.
Yes.
Carlos Moog.
I'm back.
Yeah. Episode 3 with you, man.
Yeah, I love it, man.
Episode 2 was heated.
I know. This might get heated again.
Guys, keep sending your comments, right?
Yeah. Please do. Send them in.
Oh my goodness me. Now, we said, and I promised our viewers that we will continue on that note because our time was already out on that day.
Yeah.
So now taking it further, we're looking at a lack of infrastructure.
Yes.
You know, and you feel there's also lack of support.
Yeah.
You know, for the black music artist. Now, Carlos, tell me, you know, you are a seasoned, you know, artist. Now, can you share some of your experiences with lack of infrastructure and support for black music artists in Canada?
Well, as I was saying before, lack of infrastructure includes, for example, not having enough radio that supports and plays domestic black artists and their music. In 2001, Canada got their first all-black radio station in 2001. Now, Canada has been in existence at least, I think, over 200 years, maybe 250. I can't remember what year Canada's birthday is, but it was just 23 years ago that Canada got its first radio station in a country that's been in existence for over 200 years.
You're talking about the whole of Canada?
All of Canada. Canada got its first all-black radio station.
All black.
All black. In 2001.
Which force was that?
It was the radio station was called Flow. It was originally called Flow 93.7.
Flow 93. You know the owner?
The owner passed away. His name was oh my goodness, this is not good.
Okay,
but he passed away.
That's okay, but I'm not sure it's a systemic issue. That
is a systemic issue because the reason why I'll tell you the reason why is this because for so many years, many organizations, black organizations in Canada, had applied to the CRTC, and the CRTC consistently turned these organizations, black media companies, and black organizations that were applying to get a radio station to support black music in Canada. The Canadian radio cable, they oversee broadcasting for radio and TV for across Canada. And many black organizations had applied and consistently and repeatedly got rejected until 2001. So again, when you have a first radio station that started in 2001 and only lasted for maybe 4 years.
Lasted for just 4 years?
4 years. Okay. By 2005, 2006, the radio station was still in existence, but instead of their playing all black radio, all black music, in 2004 or 5, they changed their format to include pop music. So, and that was playing a lot of white artists. And the other thing that they weren't doing, although Canada got the first black radio station, they weren't playing a lot of black artists from Canada. They were playing majority black artists from America.
Possibly because they want to gain acceptance?
Pardon, say again?
Possibly because they want to gain acceptance and recognition.
Well, I don't know if it's about acceptance, because it shouldn't matter if it's black music. In my opinion, they should have been playing more majority black artists from Canada. So why do you have a black radio station in Canada playing majority American music? Because in America, they have many black radio stations playing 99% American black artists. Why in Canada are we playing majority American black artists? Why are we not supporting black artists in Canada? I had a conversation, I'll tell you what, I had a conversation with the program director. His name is Justin Dumont. He was a program director for at the time for Flow. And I sat down with him and I said, why is it that Flow 98 is not playing more black artists from Canada? And he told me two reasons. One, advertising. Because if, for example, you want to buy advertising on the radio station, it's going to cost $40,000, $50,000 for a minute. And
How much?
It's like for 60 seconds, you're spending
How many dollars?
$50,000, $60,000, right? So example, if you, maybe not that much, let's go down to say $10,000, $15,000. If you are promoting an album and you say, ladies and gentlemen, yo, Ukela Prince's new album's coming out, so and so and so and so and so. How much that could, okay, that's gonna be $10,000. How many black artists in Canada have $10,000 they can go to a radio station and say, okay, I'll buy $10,000 worth of advertising and it's gonna only play for a minute for say 4 weeks. So you spend $10,000 on a radio ad that's gonna play a minute for 4 weeks. When that $10,000 could have gone somewhere else. But a lot of black artists in Canada don't even have that kind of money. So the radio guy said to me, well, that's part of the reason why, because when you get, and the second reason why, when you get these big multi-mega companies that have millions of dollars and that could spend millions of dollars on advertising, they dictate what gets played on the radio. So then a big corporation from downtown Toronto will call up the radio station and say, we want to spend $100,000 on a radio ad, but in order for us to spend this money at your radio, we don't want to hear no black artists from Canada. And we want to hear majority, we want to hear white artists.
Is this factual?
This is factual. This is fact. Because radio, as you should know, advertising is what sells radio or media or TV. So, and I didn't know that until 2001 when I was in a relationship with a woman who worked in advertising, and she told me, Carlos, music doesn't sell radio, advertising sells radio. So whoever spends the most money dictates what gets played on radio. And that's what this guy told me. So an all-black radio station is now getting money from a corporation that's white-owned, that's spending $100,000 on the radio station, and the corporation is telling the radio station, we don't want to hear black artists from Canada. We'll hear black artists, but they have to be American and they have to be minimal. So instead of them playing the biggest hip-hop artist, they're going to start, then they change the format to playing Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, they probably will play Rihanna, they may play Akon, they may play, but then they'll play the Christina Aguileras, the Britney Spears, the Justin Timberlakes, the Justin Biebers, white artists that are pop that have black influence in their music. So and that still goes on today.
Now, let me put you in that shoe.
Okay.
Because we are also looking at preferring solutions to some of these challenges.
Mm-hmm.
If you are the owner of, what do you call it, Flow FM?
It was called Flow 93.7. Now it's called G98 Flow.
Okay. If you're the owner of G98 Flow now, right, presently, and this deal is before you as a black man, what would you do?
What I would do is say, okay,
you need to pay the bills.
Okay, I need to pay the bills. But what I'm going to try to do is find a black organization or a group of black investors to say, listen, we need to build the black music industry in this country. Now, is there portions of this that you're giving me that I could use or my team can use, that we could use a portion of this funds to support black music in Canada, so we can play more artists, black artists in Canada, and in all genres of black music. So I'll say, okay, I know I have these bills to pay, but I want to support black artists and black music in Canada and have them being played on terrestrial radio, where if it's on an FM dial, when you're driving home, you will hear a Carlos Morgan, you'll hear a Glenn Lewis, you will hear a Chris Rouse, you hear a Divine Brown, you hear a Ukela Prince, you hear other African artists that are in Canada, and you hear not African gospel, hip hop, blue, whatever genre of music. I'll say, okay, I'm going to meet with a group of investors that could say, okay, we know we need to do this, but how can we support the black music artists in this country and have them played on radio?
And the question is this, maybe two questions. You, as the CEO of, permit me to call it Flow FM right now, you're at one for business and not sentiments. Business first. Possibly your main target is not just to promote music, but to do other things as well. So, at what point the black music becomes paramount for me, considering my business, the bills I need to pay? How many, second question is, how many black organizations, black businesses will be willing to invest in a black business?
Okay, so this is going to come down to a business plan. So I'm going to answer your first question first. Okay, so I'm not, of course, the music that I'm going to play from black artists in Canada. Okay, I'm going to have to think of a business model that if I play these artists, that there has to be a return. So how do I?
Sorry for coming in right now. Don't forget that you are speaking because, first and foremost, you are an artist. Possibly the owner of Flow FM is not a music artist. Is not even a music-minded person. Possibly.
Right.
So go ahead.
So I understand it comes down. It's a great question. I understand it comes down to numbers, right? Okay. Well, how much are we spending? How much, and more importantly, what are we getting, right? Because we can't just be sending out. So what is the return? So I wouldn't be able to, at this time, to say, okay, this is what we will do. But what I will say is this, so the investors say, okay, we're going to use a portion of this money to promote black music. Okay, we have to think of the business model, because if we're using this money to promote black music, what's the return? We have to figure out a return. What does that look like? Okay, here's a perfect example. Well, I'm just going to throw it out there. If we say to the artist, okay, we have this money to promote you, but we want to show artists to invest in themselves. So we'll say, okay, we have this money that will help to promote black artists, but we also need the artists to invest. So we'll say, okay, instead of coming to us and say we're going to charge you $10,000, or you're gonna have to spend say $5,000 to have your song played on the radio. Give us $2,500, right? So we'll use a portion of that $2,500 to put back into the business, and then the other half to promote the artist. So I'm just giving an answer to it right now, but this is something that can be worked out where the business is making money and we're supporting the artists.
So you realize that there's a whole lot of strategy that needs to be
totally.
So it takes someone who has a mindset for the black music, for example, or the black industry, whatever it is, to be able to spend that time, take out time to begin to articulate, to analyze and see how he can profit the black artist or music artist in this case, and then also make sure that what he's making is his own profit.
Right.
Whereby, compared to someone who I am in for business, and I need to make money to pay the bills.
Okay,
in
well,
Canada, you need to pay bills, right?
But here, sorry to interrupt you, but here's the same question. How do the major labels do it? How do the major corporations do it? They spend all this money,
The radio
but yet they're
station,
making, so,
the
but
radio
they're
station
making
is
the money
not a regular label. The radio station is not a
But how do the radio stations then do it? Because the radio stations, they spend money, they make money, and they're spending money. So we find someone who works in radio that can say, okay, this is what we want to do, but we want to specialize it to support black music. But we also know that we're a business. So what is the initiative, or what is the method, what is the business framework that we could use money to support artists, but we also know we want to make money too. So it's a win-win situation. Yeah, sometimes there's going to be ebbs and flows, there's going to be highs and lows. That's inevitable, that's understandable, but the point is, we want to support black music.
Good.
We want to build black music. And that's a part of building the infrastructure.
What is the main barrier that prevents black music artists from accessing resources, funding, and opportunities?
I think one big part of it is lack of knowledge.
Lack of knowledge.
Lack of knowledge, because again, there are many black artists in this country that, one, they don't know the business. Two, they don't even know that there are many granting bodies that gives out money.
That is not a systemic problem.
Well, it is. It's not all a systemic issue. Some of it is just boils down to, a lot of it is, as I said, lack of knowledge. And what I mean by lack of knowledge is knowing the resources that are out there. For example, there is the there's the Canada Arts Council, there's the Ontario Arts Council, and Toronto, they have the Toronto Arts Council, then you have Factor. Okay, but just recently, I found a list online where there are many granting bodies that gives out money for artists.
And most artists, black artists, don't know about it.
Exactly.
So
and that's what I mean by lack of knowledge.
No, that's what
And I didn't even know until recently.
Oh, really? You see?
So I didn't even know.
So it means that there is something there.
But, okay.
But Ontario says it's yours to discover. Yes.
That's good.
It's yours to discover. So if we, I don't know if you see my perspective. So the black artist community needs to sit up.
Right.
Set structures in place.
But here's the other thing. Sorry, Ukela. But here's the other thing. A lot of black artists, right? They will know. They'll get information.
They won't tell you.
There it is.
So that's what I'm saying.
And that's on us.
It's on us. So it's beyond the systemic challenge or issues that we are portraying. We ourselves, first and foremost, need to get to the right direction.
But you know what else? Part of the reason why I so interrupt you again, I just had a thought, I don't want to forget it. But this is where the systemic issue plays a role. Because if I know something, right, and knowing how the system works, that the system does not support black music. So if I know something, I'm not going to tell everybody else, because the system is telling me that as a black artist, there is only a small piece of the pie for black artists. So if I tell you, and I tell the next person, my chances of receiving funding is going to minimize. So the system tells artists, racialized artists, black artists, that you only have a small piece of the pie. So if you tell everybody else, you're not going to get much. You're not going to get much. So you know what? So the artist says, I ain't going to say anything. I'm not going to tell so and so and so and so they can get it, because the system is telling me there's not a lot for everybody. And in my community.
Now, and one thing is this: the system also sees, if the system has capacity to drop 100%, and it drops 40%, and it sees that even the 40% has not been utilized.
Right.
Because most people aren't aware.
Right.
It has not been utilized. There's a turnover every year. It's not utilized.
Right.
So how do you encourage me to push me more?
Right.
So I am of the opinion. I'm asking the question anyway. So, but this is my opinion, because I'm also an artist, right?
Yes.
The black community of artists need to come together.
Absolutely. And that is a bigger issue than the systemic racism, contextually, because sometimes it's an issue. But I always say to the black artists and black community, okay, let's not worry about the Canadian music industry.
Worry about that.
Why can't we come together? But you know what we do? We backbite. We backstab, we tear each other down, we criticize each other down, or it'll be okay, Ukela, you have your team over there, I'm gonna have my team over here. And then I'm like, wait a second, we're in our silos,
Right.
Why can't we meet in the middle and say, okay, you have something I don't have, I have something you don't have, the next person, let's put in what we have in a pot. And
to bring this episode to a close,
Yes.
look into the camera and talk to your African brothers, my brother.
The same thing?
Yeah, you tell them. You have a message you're preaching right now.
Yeah, okay.
If we have a challenge
Yeah.
to solve beyond systemic issues,
Yeah.
first and foremost now,
Yeah.
on this episode,
Yeah.
let's talk to African brothers.
Okay.
Talk to our black brothers.
So my black brothers and sisters, my African brothers and sisters, my African descendants brothers and sisters in Canada, we know the challenges that we face, but I'm going to pose the question first. Why can't we come together as a people to support one another? Okay, now I'm just going to speak from the music industry perspective because that's what I'm in. But this is also something that is general across the board, how we need to unify and come together as a collective, come together as a people, whether you're from the continent of Africa, whether you're from the Caribbean, whether you're in North America, wherever part of the world we as a people are from, but we are in this country, Canada, right now. Why is it that we can't come together and build each other? So again, we may not have a lot, but what we do have, if we unify, we can be a people that no one in this world, no one on this earth, no other community can dominate, can oppress, suppress, can defeat, because we are, and I'm saying this, we are God's chosen people. The black diaspora are God's chosen people, and we don't know that. But if we come to know that and we unify and to say, okay, we face these challenges, and I'm speaking again back to the music, as musicians in this country that know the barriers that we face, if we can pull our resources together, we can humble ourselves and say, yes, you're my African brother, yes, you're my Jamaican brother, you're my Trinidadian brother, yeah, you're my brother or sister from Canada, you're my brother or sister from South America, you're my brother or sister from Ghana, you're my brother or sister from South Africa, you're my brother or sister from St. Kitts, wherever. We can come together as a people and unify. I love y'all. I love my black people, and that's what we need to do. Peace and love.
Thank you. Thank you, Morgan.
Love this guy, and I love this man right here too, man.
I love you, my brother, man.
Yeah, man.
So, to bring this to a close, that's our show for today. So, my own word or phrase is that united we stand, then divided we fall. Thank
Yes.
you. See you in the next episode, man.
Woo!